Good evening. So basically in the last class we were discussing Woods and Saxon formula. What was the mathematical, that was the mathematical model of the charge distribution inside the nuclei. So the formula that was given by Wood and Saxon, that was this: rho of charge density per unit volume. This is charge density per volume as a function of r. This is given by rho naught upon 1 plus exponential r minus r upon a. I have already discussed to you what is the meaning of rho naught, capital R and A. I have already discussed these things. So this is diffusiveness constant. This is the this is the distance of R at which charge density becomes rho naught by 2, and this is the charge density at the core of the nuclei. In last class, someone was asking about this value at the center, nearly at the center of the nuclei. This rho naught is roughly equal to 0.15 E. This is E is electronic charge, 0.15 E per Fermi cube. So this is actually volume. So this is per meter cube, but here because unit for the radius of the nuclei is in terms of Fermi, so this is per Fermi cube. This is the, and apart from this, value of this rho CH, this charge density, the value of this charge density inside the nuclei is such that if we integrate this rho CH with for this sphere of the nuclei, that rho CH into 4 pi, this take this 4 pi inside, so 4 pi r square dr into rho CH from 0 to infinity, this will be equal to Z. So this will be the total charge. These conditions should be satisfied by this rho CH, or and this is the value of the constant rho naught. So this type of charge distribution is find out inside the nuclei. So what I am saying, inside the nuclei, this type of charge density is observed. Now, what we have done, we have used MEV electron beam, or the electron beam whose energy is of the order of 50 to 100 MeV, to find out the charge density inside the nuclei. But if you want to find out, okay, for nuclei, what is the charge density, we have already discussed. Now, suppose you want to find out the charge density inside the proton and neutron. If you want to find out the charge density inside the proton and neutron, then the lambda associated with electron beam should be much lesser. Then the de Broglie wavelength.
Sir, the video is not clear. Board is not clear.
Okay. So basically, in that case, the de Broglie wavelength should be very, very less. So if you want to make this de Broglie wavelength of the order of the size of the proton and neutron, then we have to increase the energy. We have to increase the energy of the electron beam, because lambda is equal to h upon p. Lambda is equal to h upon p. This p is depending upon the energy of the electron beam. So if I increase the value of energy, or I will increase the value of p, then automatically this lambda will become smaller.
Sir, video is not clear.
So basically, when you so for the
clear नहीं वीडियो
बेटा एक मिनट थोड़ा सा पेशेंस रखो. So basically, if you want to find out, if you want to find out the internal charge distribution of the proton and neutron, then what you have to do, you have to use an electron beam whose energy will be of the order of GeV. So basically, to determine the internal structure of the proton and neutron, or the charge distribution inside the proton and neutron, what you need very small lambda. You need very small lambda. For this P or the energy E, this should be large. Later on, it was find out if we take this electron beam energy in GeV. If we use the electron beam of GeV energy, if we use the electron beam of GeV energy, then with the help of this electron scattering experiment, we can have estimate of the charge distribution inside the nuclei. So by using electron beam of GeV energy, scientist has find out the charge distribution inside the proton. For proton, structure is like this. If you want to, this is basically on the y-axis. This is 4 pi r square into charge density. Charge density. So on the y-axis, we have the charge density inside the proton, and here this is radius of the proton. So here, if this is 1 femtometer, here suppose this is 2 femtometer, then this you will find out this type of internal charge distribution. You will find out this type of internal charge distribution inside the proton. This type of charge distribution is observed inside the proton. So this type of charge distribution can be observed by the electron scattering experiment by using electron beam whose energy is of the order of GeV. So इसके लिए बेटा प्रोटॉन का internal charge structure जानने के लिए क्या जरूरी है? For that we need electron beam whose energy is very high, is of the order of GeV. In that case, people have done many experiments, and on the basis of those experiments, they find out this type of charge distribution inside the proton. So inside the proton, this type of charge distribution is there. This is exponentially decaying. This part is exponentially decaying. This is exponentially decaying. Or you can write this is exponentially decaying, or this is varying as exponentially e to the power minus r by a, and this a is equal to 0.26. This is the scale on which this charge distribution is decreasing. This is 0.26 Fermi. This is 0.26 Fermi, roughly 0.26 or 0.23 rather. This is 0.23 Fermi.
So
Pardon?
So why energy should be large to know the distribution inside?
बेटा बताया तो था अभी. आपकी क्या कंडीशन होती है? If you want to find out the internal structure of any object, then de Broglie wavelength should be less than or equal to the size of the object. When you are trying to find out the internal charge distribution of the proton and neutron, then this radius will be very, very small. This will be how much? Radius will be, for proton, radius will be roughly 1.2 into 1 to the power 1 by 3 Fermi. So this will be roughly 1.2 Fermi. So size of the proton will be, अगर मैं उसका diameter की बात, if diameter is taken, then this will be roughly 2.4 Fermi. Approximate size will be this. This will be the approximate size of the Fermi, of the proton. So automatically my de Broglie wavelength, this de Broglie wavelength should be less than or equal to 2.4 Fermi. So this is very small. This is very small de Broglie wavelength, and formula for de Broglie wavelength is lambda equal to h upon p. So basically, to find out 2.4 Fermi lambda here, you have to increase the value of p. So अगर आप इस p को increase करेंगे, it means energy is increasing. So if you are choosing energy of the order of GeV, only then this lambda will be of the order of 2 Fermi. So that's why we are using electron beam of very high energy in GeV range. So this is the internal structure of the proton. Similarly, क्या बेटा?
ये क्या है ये?
ये जो है e to the power minus r by ये तो बेटा स्केल लेंथ है. This is known as scale length. Exponential जो है वो इस स्केल लेंथ पे डिक्रीज कर रहा है. and A is equal to 0.23 Fermi. जिस स्केल पे वो डिक्रीज करता है, that scale is in terms of A. A is 0.23 Fermi. This is the internal charge distribution of the proton. Now come to the internal charge distribution of neutron. What type of
सर जो ये आर की वैल्यू है ये रफली ली हमने.
बेटा R की वैल्यू कितना होता है? R का फॉर्मूला R is equal to R naught A to
Yes,
the
sir.
power 1/3. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
प्रोटॉन क्या होता है? प्रोटॉन होता है 1h1. दिस इज प्रोटॉन. ठीक है. तो A की वैल्यू कितनी है? 1. So this will be R naught 1 to the power 1/3. तो ये कितना हो गया बेटा? R naught. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is 1.2 Fermi. ठीक है.
ओके सर,
this-
थैंक यू सर.
This is R naught. R naught is equal to 1.2 Fermi. Similarly, we can find out the charge distribution inside the neutron with the help of electron scattering experiment. So अगर हम इलेक्ट्रॉन का इंटरनल स्ट्रक्चर जानना चाहते हैं, then an electron beam of GeV energy is incident on that neutron, and by the results of the scattering of that experiment, we find out this type of charge distribution inside the nuclei. So this is the charge distribution inside the nuclei. So here we have again 4 pi R square into charge density. Charge density on the y-axis, and here suppose this is 1, or you can write it, you can make this type of, and this is 2. This is 1 Fermi, 2 Fermi, this is R. So what type of structure it is? It has this type of structure. ठीक है. This is the positive charge. और उसके बाद क्या है बेटा? ये इसके बाद जो स्ट्रक्चर होगा, that will be like this. That will be, थोड़ा सा और इसे ऊपर ले जाओ, और ये फिर बहुत कम, और ये 2, जहाँ पे ये 2 फर्मी है उसके बाद ये डाउन. दिस इज 1 फर्मी, दिस इज 2 फर्मी. तो इस टाइप का बेटा चार्ज डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है. सो दिस इज पॉजिटिव चार्ज, this is positive charge, this is negative charge, and total positive charge will be exactly equal to negative charge. So this is the charge distribution inside the neutron. This is the charge distribution inside the neutron. So here the core of the neutron, this is for neutron here, this is for neutron. The core of the neutron is positive. So from this charge distribution, it is clear that this is 1 Fermi, this is nearly 2 Fermi. So here core of the neutron is positively charged. This core is nearly positively charged. This core is positively charged. After this, you have a layer of negative charge. So inner core is made up of positive charge. That positive core is surrounded by the negative charge, and at the outside and the outer layer, outermost layer, this is made up of very feeble positive charge layer. This is made up of very feeble positive charge layer, but summation of this positive and this positive charge is exactly equal to this negative charge. So overall, neutron is neutral particle. Overall, you can see overall neutron is the positive neutral particle, but it consists of both type of charge, positive charge as well as negative charge, and sum of positive charge is equal to the exact or the total negative charge. Total positive charge is equal to total negative charge in this case. So these are the internal structure of protons and neutrons, and
Sir,
they are
sir.
opting. हाँ जी बताओ.
सर जैसे इस ग्राफ के अंदर जो पॉजिटिव पोर्शन है इट इज मच मोर हायर देन द नेगेटिव पोर्शन.
अरे बेटा मैंने कोई स्केल से थोड़ा ही बनाया है.
नहीं मतलब जैसे मतलब
I'm not used
अगर
any
हम
scale.
प्रैक्टिकली देखें तो ये दोनों बराबर आएंगे.
बिल्कुल बराबर आएंगे. ये वाला पॉजिटिव चार्ज और ये पॉजिटिव चार्ज अगर इसका सम करोगे दैट विल बी इक्वल टू नेगेटिव चार्ज. स्केल में थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे है, मैंने कोई स्केल यूज नहीं किया, रफली मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको.
थैंक यू सर.
Inner core will be positive charge that will be surrounded by negative layer, and that negative layer is again the outermost, is surrounded by outermost layer that is carrying positive charge. मैंने स्केल नहीं लिखा आपके y axis पर, अगर आप ध्यान से देखो. So these are the charge distribution inside the proton and neutron. So this was the first method. By electron diffraction method, we have find out the charge distribution inside the nuclei, inside the proton, as well as inside the neutron. Now next method, with the help of which one can estimate the nuclear radius, that is known as mirror nuclei method. This is an important method from your exam point of view also. Next method is mirror nuclei method. Next is mirror nuclei method. Mirror nuclei method. This is an important method. इस पे न्यूमेरिकल बेटा कई बार आ चुका है, आगे भी बहुत पॉसिबिलिटी है क्योंकि कई सारे क्वेश्चंस बन जाते हैं इसमें. So first question arises, what is the meaning of mirror nuclei? Before discussing, we should know what is the meaning of mirror nuclei. So I am writing here few combinations of mirror nuclei, like 1H3, and 2H3. This is a combination of mirror nuclei. Like this is third is 3Li7 and 4Be7. This is another combination of mirror nuclei. Okay. Next is 6C13 and this is 7N13. This is another combination. These are the combination of mirror nuclei, like 19K39, and here we have 20CA39. So these are few combinations. They are mirror nuclei. These two are mirror nuclei. These two are mirror nuclei. These two are mirror nuclei, and these two are mirror nuclei. So these are few examples of the mirror nuclei. So now you can understand what is the meaning of mirror nuclei here. By observing these, can you estimate what is the mirror nuclei, meaning of mirror nuclei?
Number of protons in one nuclei is equals to number of
atomic mass same.
Atomic mass तो बेटा same है, लेकिन जो अभी बच्चा बताया था, he was correct. Basically, here number of protons and neutrons जो भी है, they will be exchanged here by number of protons and neutrons. For example, here in this case, number of proton is 1 and number of neutron is 2, and here this number will be exchanged. Number of proton will become 2 and number of neutron will become 1.
Sir,
so
mass is same.
Mass तो same रहेगा बेटा दोनों, तभी हो पाएगा ना. So here two things are important here. Whatever is the number of proton here, in the mirror nuclei, that will be the number of neutron. Whatever is the number of neutron here, that will be the number of proton in the mirror nuclei. One thing is this. Second, the difference between number of neutron and proton is plus minus 1 only. In mirror nuclei, in case of mirror nuclei, difference between number of protons and number of neutrons. Second important thing is number of neutrons or number of protons. इनका जो difference है, that can only be plus minus 1. या तो न्यूट्रॉन
हीलियम होगा क्या? सर एक बार रिपीट कर दीजिए सर, रिपीट.
दिस इज हीलियम बेटा, दिस इज हीलियम 2He3. ठीक है, दिस इज एन एग्जांपल. नाउ दूसरा एग्जांपल लेते हैं बेटा. नाउ कम टू अनदर एग्जांपल. सपोज ये लिया हमने 6C13 and 7N13, they are mirror nuclei. So in this nuclei 7 and 13, number of न्यूट्रॉन एंड नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन कितने होंगे? नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन कितने होंगे बेटा? 7. और नंबर ऑफ न्यूट्रॉन कितने होंगे? 6. अगर आप 6C, if you observe 6C13, then here number of proton will be 6 and number of neutron is 7. So proton का number neutron से their number is exchange. Whatever is the number of proton here, that is the number of neutron here. So this number of neutron is equal to number of proton in the mirror nuclei, and this is equal to number of proton. So their number is exchange. Proton और neutron का जो number है, that is exchange. Number of proton and number of neutron are exchange in mirror nuclei, and as well as difference between the number of proton or the number of neutron minus number of proton, that is equal to plus minus. This is the second property. So this type of combination of nuclei where number of protons and number of neutrons are exchanging between them, and difference and the number of neutron minus number of proton is plus minus 1, that type of combination of nuclei is known as mirror nuclei. That type of combination of nuclei is known as mirror nuclei. ठीक है, तो ये जितने भी nuclei हैं बेटा, they are known as mirror nuclei. So what I am saying, in nature there are many combination of mirror nuclei, and with the property of this mirror nuclei, with the help of these mirror nuclei, we can find out the radius of these nuclei. We can find out the radius of these nuclei. अब बेटा अगर if I am suppose I am choosing this nuclei and this nuclei, suppose I am choosing this mirror nuclei combination, so can you tell me their radius will be same or their radius will be different?
Same.
Same.
Both may be same.
Why? Why?
Different.
Because good. Their radius will be same. Radius of 6, 13 and radius of 7 and 13, they will be equal. Their radius will be equal because radius is given by r equal to r naught a to the power 1 by 2. So whatever will be the radius, that will be equal. But this is an approximation formula. This is an approximated formula. We want to find out more accurate result with the help of mirror nuclei. But we are aware that their radius will be same. Their radius will be same. So for this, we will choose a beta reaction. So here we will choose a beta reaction. What is the beta reaction? If we have 7 and 13. हाँ जी.
सब मिरर न्यूक्लियर का मतलब रेडियस सेम होगा.
Mirror nuclei means their radius will be same. Their radius will be same because their A number will be same. Or you can say approximately that their radius will be very close. ठीक है? Their radius will be very close, or it will be equal because their A number is same. Suppose we have this unstable nuclei, this 7 and 13. This is an unstable nuclei. It can convert into 6C13 by emitting a beta plus particle. By emitting a beta plus particle. So this is a beta emission process. And you are aware when beta particle is emitted, this is always associated with a particle that is known as neutrino. So this is the beta process for the 7 and 13 nuclei. 7 and 13 is a unstable nuclei. It will decay into 6C13. It will decay into 6C13 by emitting beta plus particle plus neutrino, energy of the neutrino. So when this reaction will take place, how much binding energy? When this reaction will take place, how much binding energy will be? How much binding energy change will take place? So जब ये reaction take place करेगी, how much energy will be released? When this reaction will take place, how much energy will be released? कितना energy release करेगा बेटा? Energy released will be equal to energy released in this reaction. It will be equal to change in binding energy. Energy released will be equal to change in binding energy. And in this reaction, change in binding energy for energy release, this will be equal to change in binding energy. And formula for this is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. First I will write the formula for this nuclei. Suppose this is, I'm assuming that this 7 is the higher number, so I'm writing this as Z plus 1. This 6 is lower, so I'm writing it as Z. So suppose this is Z, then this will be Z plus 1, because I want to write down the general formula. हाँ जी बेटा बताओ. Yes.
Sir, this will not be equal to Q value of this reaction.
बिल्कुल. Q value is always equal to, Q value क्या होती है बेटा? Q value is equal to Q. You can write Q value in two ways, either in terms of mass or in terms of binding energy. So I am using the Q value of binding energy. Q value is what energy? This is the energy released in the system. Q value is the energy released in the system. So that Q value or this energy released in the system, it will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So first write down for this will be 3. This will be 3 Z plus 1 square E square upon this will be 5R, if R is the radius of the nucleus. This will be the binding energy of this, minus this will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 3 Z square E square upon 5R. Here this is higher number is Z plus 1 and this lower number. For this lower number I am assuming this as 6. So here Z plus 1 is 7 in this case, and this Z is equal to 6. So this much amount of energy, this is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. I will take this E square here. I will write this as E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught. And here this will be 3 Z plus 1 square minus Z square upon 5R.
Sir, are we considering Coulombic interaction to calculate this binding?
1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. So basically, this will be the difference in binding energy. This will be the difference in binding energy of this nuclei and this nuclei. Actually, what is the expression of binding energy? Binding energy is made up of 5 components. First is EV, volume energy. Second is आप इसे लिखोगे ES, surface energy. Third is Coulomb energy. Next is asymmetry energy. And last one is pairing energy. This will be plus minus EP. So binding energy is made up of these 5 components. But here in this case, when I will calculate binding energy for this, I will have 5 components. So suppose this is BE1, and then I will write binding energy for the second. This will be EV minus ES minus EC minus EA plus minus EP. यहाँ पे सभी में बेटा 1 लगा लो, ये 1 लगा लो, ये 1 1 1. This is 2 2 2 2 2. ये जो नंबर है बेटा ये केवल, और फिर इसका माइनस करेंगे. Then we will take its minus. So here we will have minus, here we will have minus, here plus. This will be plus, this will be plus, and here whatever, if plus is there it will convert into minus, if minus is there it will become. So this number, this EV depends only on A. This EV, volume energy, depends on A only, so this will be cancelled out. This surface energy, this also depends only on A, so this will also cancelled out. Here this EP, this also depends upon A. So because these 3 terms, EV, ES and EP, they are only depending upon A, and here the A number is same for both the nuclei. A number is same for both. So automatically these three terms will be cancelled out. This term depend upon A as well as square of the difference between neutron and proton. This term depends upon two things. One, dependence on A, so वो same होगी, that will be same for both nuclei, as well as it depends upon the square of the number of neutron minus number of proton. Number of neutrons minus proton कितना होता है? It is either +1 or it is either -1. And if you take the square of this will become +1 in both cases. So this energy will also be equal. So this will be cancelled out. So when you are calculating the difference in the binding energy of two nuclei, only Coulombian energy, only Coulomb energy term, this will remain intact. Only Coulomb energy term will survive when you are calculating the difference between their binding energy. So here, this is the Coulomb energy term. This is the Coulomb energy term for this nuclei. This is the Coulomb energy term for this nuclei. So basically, this difference or the energy released, it will be equal to the difference of the binding energy of two nuclei. Or you can say this energy released is equal to the Coulomb energy term, difference of the Coulomb energy term of both nuclei. Difference of Coulomb energy term of both nuclei. Other terms, other four energy terms, they will be cancelled out. ठीक है? इनके expression क्या होंगे? We will discuss those expression in liquid drop model. Exact expression क्या होंगे? We will discuss their exact expression in liquid drop model. But here, for right now, you can remember that the binding energy difference will be equal to the Coulomb energy difference between the two nuclei. So this much amount of energy will be released. सही है बेटा? इतना energy release हो गया. So in this reaction, so much amount of energy is released. तो ये मेरा reaction था बेटा.
Sir, in denominator there will be R square or R only?
Only R. ठीक है? It will be R only.
But in the Coulomb law, we have the formula 1/4πε0 Q1 Q2 times Q1 Q2 over R.
Don't worry, I will drive that one when I will discuss liquid drop model. But this is the formula for Coulomb energy term. Even you can calculate. This is a homework for you. Take a sphere. ठीक है? क्या करो? एक sphere लो बेटा और assume कर लो कि उस पे plus ZD charge है. Take a sphere and assume that this sphere has plus ZD charge and capital R is the radius of this sphere. And this charge is uniformly distributed throughout the sphere. तो क्या लिया? You choose a sphere. Total charge on this sphere plus ZD is uniformly distributed, and the radius of this sphere is capital R. Then calculate the potential energy, Coulombian potential energy for this sphere. इस sphere के लिए Coulomb potential energy बेटा calculate करो. You will find out the same expression.
Sir, okay, yeah, that comes only.
ठीक है ना? Because this is a uniformly distributed. जब आप एक shell लोगे, first you will choose a shell and then you will solve. So I will discuss this problem. Don't worry. So here, what you have this N. Here you have this C. If you observe these two nuclei, 7 and 13 and 6C13, you will find out here. Here we have one axis proton. Here we have a proton, one axis proton, and here we have one axis neutron. यहाँ पे बेटा कितना है? 7 proton and 6 neutron, and here we have 6 proton and 7 neutron. So 6 plus 6, 6 proton and 6 neutron are present in both the nuclei. Here one proton is extra, here one neutron is extra. So you can say in this reaction, one proton is converted into neutron plus beta plus particle plus neutrino. I can say this. I can also write this equation in that way. Proton is converted into neutron, and along with this beta plus and nu, it will be emitted. Here, this nuclei is considered at rest. This is at rest when it is emitting these particles. Now, mass of this nuclei is very large. Mass of this nuclei is very large as compared to mass of positron and neutrino. As compared to mass of the positron and neutrino, neutrino का mass तो electron से भी 200 times less होता है. Mass of neutrino is 200 times less as compared to mass of the electron, and even mass of electron is negligible with respect to this. So from classical mechanics, if this energy that is evolved in this reaction, वो किस form में होगी बेटा? This energy released will be in the form of kinetic energy of these nuclei, kinetic energy of this nuclei, as well as it will create some mass. So whatever energy is released due to the change in binding energy, that extra energy will be utilized for two purposes. One, in creating mass, and second, rest of the energy will be in the form of kinetic energy of these deuter nuclei. But because mass of this nuclei is very large, so automatically it will carry negligible amount of kinetic energy. It will carry negligible amount of kinetic energy. Most of the kinetic energy, or roughly 99.99% of kinetic energy, will be carried out by these lighter particles. Okay? This is a collision problem. This is a simple collision problem of classical mechanics. So here, whatever energy is released, that will be utilized in two forms. One, in creating mass, this beta particle is created, this nu is created, okay? And rest of the energy, that will be in the form of kinetic energy of these nuclei, as well as kinetic energy of this will be nearly zero. 99.99 or even greater than the energy that will be kinetic energy will be carried by these positron and neutrino, because their mass is very, very less. Their mass is very, very less. So this delta E will be equal to how much? Here this proton is converted into neutron. Here this proton is converted into neutron, and mass of the neutron is little bit higher as compared to mass of the proton. And mass of the neutron is little bit higher as compared to mass of the proton. So here this energy, a part of this energy will be utilized for creating mass, and this will be Mn, mass of neutron, minus mass of proton into c square. So a part of this energy is utilized in creating this mass, plus creating in the creation of this positron, sorry, m beta plus c square plus this m nu c square. Okay? Plus kinetic energy of this and this, kinetic energy of beta plus particle plus kinetic energy of neutrino and kinetic energy of neutrino. So this energy will be equal to this one. Okay?
So neutron will not have any kinetic energy.
सर ये स्टेटमेंट बताना दोबारा.
कौन सा?
यही लास्ट वाली सर.
भाई आपके पास जो एनर्जी रिलीज्ड है वो किस काम में यूज होगी? How this reaction will use that energy, जो energy released है, that energy will be utilized in creating mass. Here proton is converted into neutron. Mass of the neutron is higher as compared to mass of proton. So इनके difference जो होगा, that mass will be created. Apart from this positron is created. So m beta plus c square. This energy, part of this energy will be utilized in the creation of the electron. Similarly, part of energy will be utilized in the creation of this neutrino. And rest of जो भी energy बचेगी, rest energy will be in the form of their kinetic energy. ठीक है. Now
Neutron will not have any kinetic energy.
एक्चुअली यहाँ मैंने बेटा इसे समझाने के लिए आपको बताया है, बट मास ऑफ द प्रोटॉन, इफ यू ऑब्जर्व द मास ऑफ द प्रोटॉन एंड न्यूट्रॉन, दैट इज 1870 times higher as compared to mass of the electron. So you can say that mass of the neutron is very, very large as compared to mass of the positron. So most of the kinetic energy will be here with this or with this. और इसका mass क्या होता है? Mass of neutrino. This mass of neutrino is nearly equal to mass of electron divided by 200 roughly. तो ये तो और भी कम हो गया. ये वाली वैल्यू जो होगी बेटा मेरी ये 0.51 MeV के आसपास होगी. ये वैल्यू और ज्यादा होगी, और ये वैल्यू तो 0.51 से भी बेटा 200 डिवाइड करोगे तो उतना कम होगी. सो वी कैन नेग्लेक्ट दिस. दिस इज नेग्लिजिबल. सो आई नेग्लेक्ट दिस. So this will be my equation. In place of this delta E, I can replace this. In place of delta E, I can write 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, and this is E square. This is E square here. 3 times Z plus 1 square minus Z square divided by 5R. So this will be my equation. Now you have a sample. You have large number of. You have a sample of 7 and 13. So you will have large number of nuclei. ऐसा तो होगा नहीं केवल एक individual nuclei ही होगी. There will be large number of nuclei. There will be large number of nuclei, and they will start emitting beta particle, beta plus particle. पहले फर्स्ट बीटा पार्टिकल निकलेगा, उसका कुछ काइनेटिक एनर्जी होगा. दूसरा बीटा प्लस, देन इट विल इमिट सेकंड बीटा पार्टिकल, इट विल हैव डिफरेंट काइनेटिक एनर्जी. थर्ड बीटा पार्टिकल विल हैव different kinetic energy. So different beta particles, they will have different kinetic energy. ठीक है? They will have different kinetic energy. Why this value is different? आपने पढ़ा होगा बीटा emission. Why this value of kinetic energy carried by beta particle is different in every time? Beta particles don't carry same kinetic energy, rather they have a continuous range of energy which they can have. First beta particle can have different kinetic energy, second can have different, third can have different. Why this kinetic energy is different?
It is shared between particles and the neutrino.
These two particles. Good. So basically the reason is total kinetic energy is constant. Total kinetic energy, this k beta plus k nu, sum of these two is always constant. कोई भी beta particle emission हो, when the 7 and 13 it will emit beta plus particle, then total kinetic energy or the sum of the kinetic energy of beta plus and kinetic energy associated with nu, sum of their kinetic energy will be equal. But distribution in between them, that can be different. Distribution in between them can be different. They can carry, suppose first time they are carrying, this is carrying 0.6, this is carrying 0.4. There can be another, this is carrying 0.5, but every time this is equal to 1. So there will be a beta particle which will carry. So in this emission of beta plus particle from the sample, you can find a beta particle which will carry maximum energy. ठीक है? So you will find a beta particle with maximum energy. So ये maximum energy कब होगी? जब इसके लिए 1 होगा, इसके लिए 0 होगा, and it will be 1. So when you find out or you measure, when you measure the maximum kinetic energy of beta particle, then here you will write k beta plus maximum, and this will become 0. And your reaction will become k beta maximum, and rest you can remove. Now this will be your final equation. This will be your final equation. So if you have a combination of mirror nuclei in which one mirror nuclei is decaying into another by emitting a beta plus or beta minus particle, then in this beta emission spectra, you can find out the maximum kinetic energy carried by beta plus particle or beta minus particle. You will substitute that maximum kinetic energy carried by beta particle here. This is a constant. We are aware about this. This is 0.51 MeV. ये भी constant value है. इसकी value भी हमें पता होती है. ठीक है. और Z+1 भी मुझे पता है. Z भी I know Z+1. I know the value of Z. So here in this case, Z+1 is 7 square minus 6 square. Now only this will be unknown, and from here you can find out the value of R. So from this equation you can find out the value of R. ये कितना होता है बेटा? इसकी वैल्यू कितना होता है? E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught. This will be 1.44 MeV Fermi. You have to remember this. You have to remember this. This E square upon 4 pi epsilon naught is 1.44 MeV Fermi. So here you will substitute 1.44 MeV Fermi only in this unit. So automatically here you have R. If you use R in Fermi, then this Fermi will cancel out and left hand side will be in terms of MeV only. Left hand side will be in terms of MeV. And then you use all these values in terms of MeV. Substitute all values in terms of MeV and you will get your final answer for R, radius of the nuclei. So in this way you can find out the final value of R. So this is known as mirror nuclei method. In this method you have to remember this. You have to remember this formula. This left hand side is the difference between the binding energy of these two nuclei, or this is the difference between the Coulomb energy terms of both these nuclei. Okay? And this will be equal to these three terms, where K beta maximum is the maximum energy carried by beta particle in this beta emission reaction. ठीक है बेटा, तो ये इक्वेशन आपको याद रखना है. लिख लो बेटा, इसे जल्दी लिखो. Then we will move to next topic.
सर हो गया.
क्या बेटा?
हो गया सर, लिख रही.
Okay, good. So now next is nuclear mass. Another important property that is exhibited by the nuclei is nuclear mass. If you want to find out the mass of the nuclei, mass of the nuclei, how much it will be? Suppose I want to find out the mass of the nuclei for this is ZXA. Then this should be equal to the mass of the constituent particles. Constituent particles are Z number of protons are there. So this will be ZMP plus this should be A minus Z. A minus Z will be number of neutrons. So this should be the mass of the nuclei, but this is not a correct result. When experimentally mass of the nuclei was calculated, it was a little bit lesser. It was a little bit lesser than the mass of the constituent particles because a small mass is converted into the nuclei. And that is known as lost mass. Mass loss. That is known as lost mass. Suppose this is delta. This is
सर lost mass एक बार repeat कर दियो, कैसे आया ये lost mass?
Lost mass डिस्कस करूंगा बेटा जब बाइंडिंग एनर्जी पढ़ाऊंगा. ठीक है ना? इतना तो आपको पता ही है कि लॉस्ट मास होता है. Basically, what is lost mass? Lost mass is the difference. You can say lost mass is the difference in the masses of these constituent particle and the actual mass of the nuclei. And the actual mass of the nuclei. Or you can say when nuclei is formed with the help of these particles, a small mass is lost, and that is known as lost mass. Or that is also known as
Sir,
mass
we can
defect.
say mass defect, right, sir? Okay.
That is also known as mass defect.
Okay, sir. Okay.
ठीक है? But what is important, I will discuss this mass defect later on when I will discuss binding energy at the last of this chapter. But here, what is important, what I want to tell you, in general, we are used to write these masses in AMU. हाँ जी.
ये सर प्रॉब्लम हो रही है इससे, मैं बोर्ड में क्लियर नहीं आ रही है वीडियो.
देखो अब आ गया. मुझे लग रहा है बेटा थोड़ा बहुत शायद आपके कनेक्शन में भी प्रॉब्लम है, नेट में भी थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है.
नहीं सर, ये तो सबके साथ होता है सर. स्क्रीन में है, मतलब बोर्ड क्लियर नहीं होता.
अभी क्लियर नहीं है क्या बोर्ड आपको?
क्लियर है सर.
सर राइट नाउ क्लियर है.
हाँ थोड़ा बहुत
क्लियर सर.
ठीक है. एक्चुअली क्या है कि मेरे मोबाइल में बेटा वो ऑप्शन नहीं है, बट मैं बहुत जल्दी नया मोबाइल परचेज कर लूंगा तो वो सही हो जाएगा. रफली आपको एक दो क्लासेस में और प्रॉब्लम, ठीक है ना? सो डोंट वरी. बाकी आपको समझ में तो सब कुछ आ रहा है ना जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ बेटा, या कोई दिक्कत आ रही है किसी टाइप की?
नो सर.
यू आर ऑल क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So basically, in general, we are used to write down these masses in terms of atomic mass units, AMU. ठीक है. And many times we want to convert this mass into equivalent energy. And many times we will convert this mass directly into the energy terms or in MeV. So we should be aware about the equivalent mass of this one AMU. Suppose मेरे पास ये reaction है and I want to convert this into the energy terms. Then what will I do? So basically I'm choosing one AMU. This is one AMU, one atomic mass unit. Corresponding energy, equivalent energy of this one AMU. One AMU कितना होता है बेटा? 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. 1 AMU is equal to 1.66 into 10 power minus 20 kg. So this is the unit for mass. Now I want to convert this mass into energy by using the formula delta M C square, Einstein formula, mass energy convergence formula. So 1 AMU, I want to find out the equivalent energy of this 1 AMU. So this will be, delta M will be equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27. This is kg. This is in kg. And the C square, it will be 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second square. So whatever I will get, that will be in joule. This will be 1.49 into 10 power minus 10 joule. So if I divide this 1.49 into 10 power minus 10 joule by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, then this joule will convert into electron volt. And further, if I divide this by 10 power 6, then this will be equal to, nearly, this will be equal to 931.5 MeV. So 1 joule is always equivalent to 931.5 MeV. So 1 joule is always equivalent to 931.5 MeV. Whenever you have mass and you want to convert directly into energy, then simply multiply the AMU units by 931.5 and you will find out the equivalent energy. You will find out the इक्विवेलेंट एनर्जी। तो जब कभी आपको मास को डायरेक्ट एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट करना हो, देन यू कैन यूज दिस यूनिट दैट 1 AMU is equivalent. This is not equal. 1 AMU is not equal to 931.5 MeV because 1 AMU is mass and this is energy, but 1 AMU is equivalent to 931.5 MeV energy. ठीक है बेटा? तो आज के लिए बेटा इतना ही। नेक्स्ट क्लास में फिर आगे डिस्कस करते हैं।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
ओके बेटा।